My mother and I never had a conversation about motherhood. After I got pregnant, her mouth became vile. She was so very angry with me, and I avoided her like the plague. She was constantly reminding me that I had a bastard child. I told her, "You never know. This may be the child that wipes you when you get old." I understood that I had this child out of wedlock, but I was having her and going to raise her the best I can. She was so nasty to me. She was still nasty the second time I got pregnant, which was 8 years later, and I was married at the time.
During my pregnancy, I was very happy until about 6 or 7 months. My son's father's drinking got bad. It was so bad that I was embarrassed by it. He used to fall asleep on the street. I would find him, take off his watch, jewelry, wallet, run upstairs to drop it off, and come back down to stay with him. I would wait with him from anywhere between 45 minutes to 3 hours trying to wake him, waiting for him to be sober enough to make it upstairs. Sometimes, the guys in the neighborhood would help me wake him up. I was so disappointed. I used to look at my stomach and say, "What did I do to you?" When we were just having fun, it was a match made in heaven. We were 16, 17, having fun and drinking. We both had jobs and we were making money. It felt like our lives were going perfectly until it stopped.
Love is not a fairy tale or what you see on TV. It's very different. I can say that because I've lived it. Being with someone for so long, I've encountered those moments where I said, "Ugh, I don't want to do this," and still working through it. I've had those conversations that became grounded in reality. It's really all about changing your expectations. You have these false expectations that are given to you from TV, and then in real life, you see how things didn't work out amongst your family members, like your parents. You have to separate yourself from these experiences. Know that you are in a different position and try to find a way to grow together. There has to be a constant conversation between you and your partner. You have to uncover, compromise, and actually enjoy the other person, not just your expectations of them.
Right now, my daughter is a happy-go-lucky kid, and I will keep her that way for as long as I can. I didn't have much of a childhood. I saw things that I shouldn't have. I distinctly remember one day my dad hit my mom, and she didn't take the abuse lying down. She gave it right back. He was acting crazy, and she chased him out of the house with the gun. If she was a better shot, I would have been with no parents, because one would have been in jail for murder, and the other would have been dead. She hit the stop sign that was right above his head. A couple of inches lower, she would have shot him in his head. After that happened, we moved in with my grandmother. Then we moved again to North Carolina to get me out of Baltimore. I knew how hard it was for my mom as a single parent with no help, so I helped her out. I stayed after school with my sister, and when money was tight, I helped her roll coins so we could pay the light bill. So my happy-go-lucky was me escaping into books. I enjoyed reading so much, but that happy-go-lucky that I see in my daughter, I don't remember having that, and I want to give it to her for as long as possible.
The experience in raising my children were different from each other. I know some people don't want to hear it, but sometimes having children later in life isn't so horrible. Me at 19 and me at 31 are two very different women, very different. The first thing I learned in motherhood was having patience, not just having patience for the kids, but for myself as well. I had to have patience to grow and become a mom. At 19, I didn't feel like a mom. I just felt like I had a baby. And there's a difference. I didn't feel motherly. I didn't bond with him in that way until after he started growing up and after I graduated college.
I always knew I was going to have children, and I wanted to have them. I wanted to be a mom because I felt like I was going to be the mom that my mom wasn't to me. That was the one thing I always told myself, that I would not be her. I wanted to give my kids the love that I didn't receive. I knew that I would do that. I knew that when I did have children, I was going to give them all the love and support that I didn't have. They would always know I had their back, and that would never be a question. They would never ever wonder whether I really love or loved them, not in the present or when I passed away. They will always know. That's how I wanted them to feel. I wanted them to have security in knowing that. Something that I didn't have.